even though our contract is written where we do certain regular routine maintenance, we like to do some of the larger jobs and smaller ones in-house if we can safely do it and we have the manpower to be able to do it, work with JL and with Larry to be able to do those things. Some of those things included when we first started here, a huge sinkhole in the backyard of the Pruitt's house where there were 3 large stormwater drain lines that were collapsed and broken, but the depth of them, it was a kind of a dangerous dig. So we had to slope back, make sure everything was done under OSHA standards. We were able to accomplish that in-house instead of having to contract out to an outside firm, saving the city several $1,000s. So there's several items like that. Another one on Wilbur, that was stormwater. We helped re-engineer the sewer extension on Anna and cut that price in half. And Utah, signed off saying it would work and save the city again about $60,000+ on that particular project. We've done a lot of work in the lift stations. When we first started here back in 2020, we had a lot of call-outs on lift stations for high-level alarms because with the power here, some of the dirty power that we have, the lift stations would trip out. We've since rewired a lot of that, replaced a lot of things, and we don't have near the amount of call-outs that we used to. So that's just a few of those types of things that we've done and been able to do in-house and hopefully save the city and the citizens money in that sense. Greg touched on the number of work orders per year, around 5,000. We're actually on track from October 1st, 2020 to present. We've done over 24,000 work orders so far. And once we get to the end of this, like you said, we'll be 5,000+ per year work orders. And that's in administration, building maintenance, fleet maintenance, natural gas, stormwater, sewer collection, water distribution. So that's a lot of things that are done, tracked, and there are things that fall through the cracks that we don't get in the system, but we just do it. We have a base fee with our contract that we bill monthly. Overtime is not billed, separately for that. We've had over 5,300 hours of overtime so far that we pay our folks, and that's not another cost to the city. We take that hit. The gas department has an annual Public Service Commission inspection. For years there was always some little deficiencies that were there, and Mike Vargo and his staff, when we came on board, that was the first year in several that we did not have any deficiencies, and we've been able to do that for the most part, moving forward and do that and keep that up. So, sorry, I ran out of time, but hopefully you'll have some questions and we'll discuss that, and I'll be happy to answer.
Thanks, sir.
Darrell Wilson, H2 Innovation. I live in Gulfport, Mississippi. I'm Senior Vice President. Really enjoy working with these guys. Really what I wanted to discuss a little bit was accountability and the options that you have with a private contractor like us. For several of our other projects and other contracts, they hold a 5% retainage on the contract. And all of that is goes back to us based on some benchmark qualifications. And so that's something that we can negotiate every year if you would like for setting up benchmarks for us to regain our retainage, which that'll help, keep us accountable and hold us accountable, really put our money where our mouth is. So it's just, one idea that we can have going forward with a new contract.
Thanks, sir.
And last but not least, I guess, I'm Greg Madden. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer with H2 Innovation. And I want to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to work with the city over the last 4 years, and we hope that we have an opportunity to continue that. I think one of the things that a private company can bring is a little bit of creativity in how we support the cities. So we tend to hire all local people. We have local management. Randy is a local, and we want to be a partner. We want to be a part of the city that we're doing work with. That's very important to us. We don't just want to come in and do the work and get out. We want to be a partner. We have some creative ideas on, again, financing. We've talked about thinking outside the box. One of the examples of that, another city that we work with, we bought all the rolling stock, and So we have over 650 fleet vehicles, and so we have quite a bit of buying power. We can sometimes optimize or improve the operating cost of a fleet. So in this one example, we bought the fleet back and leased it to the city through the terms of the contract. We're very willing to work on creative options like that to expand the contract and support the city. And then the other thing that I wanted to say was the idea of pay. So since the beginning of this contract, H2O started back in October of 2021, we took the corporate decision to increase base pay to a minimum of $15 an hour, minimum wage $15 an hour for all employees across our operations and maintenance throughout the United States. And that was something that we took as a corporation to make sure that we're supplying good quality jobs for the employees that we have and that they can be at a living wage despite the fact that the national minimum wage is quite a bit below that. So those are the kind of things that we do to try and provide good jobs and be a good partner for the cities that we're working with, and I hope that we get an opportunity to continue working with the city of Lima. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sessions.
So the board needs to tell me if we want to take this inside or go out for bid for a private contractor.
I have a couple of questions before we decide. How many employees are employed with H2O?
Yeah, if one of the representatives will come back up, I guess, Ms. Rosen, you have some questions for him?
So for all the departments, it's 17 plus me, which is 18 employees here in Lima.
Who provide the insurance? Do the city of Livo provide the insurance, or do your company provide?
H2O provides all of that. So we have our health, dental, vision insurance for the employees themselves, retirement, as well as
We provide a full schedule of auto insurance on each of the units that we operate for you every day. We also provide a complete line of commercial business insurance. So that is your general liability insurance, all of workers' compensation, pollution liability insurance for the collection system, a full certificate of insurance with an umbrella policy on top of it that's provided to the city at no cost.
At no cost to the city?
Inside of our contract, but no additional.
But no additional cost. And you provide a full benefit package for all of the employees?
Yes.
Do you have any part-time employees, or are they all full-time?
they're all full-time.
They're all full-time.
And again, all of our employees, we list they're in Lima or Swanee County. So they're all
Well, we have 18 employees.
Any other questions of? All right. So we need a motion and a second, and then we can have discussion. This be your time to shine, council. Anybody offer a motion? We have to have a motion one way or the other.
Due to the fact that I have concerns about our lack of an HR department here within the city. I personally, at this time, do not feel as though we, the city of Livo, is ready to take on eliminating another company, or eliminating this company, or we taking this on internally. One of the main things that was said right here was, in 4 years, we had 3 different city managers, 3 different, I don't know what I put that initial right there for. But we also have, like, coming up.
I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but we can discuss that after we.
Oh, after the motion, okay, there you go, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. No problem, you're not being rude, you're just keeping me in order.
All right, so do we have a motion one way or the other?
I make a motion that we continue with RFP,
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second, now discussion.
Okay, so I guess I can go back
Yes,
into.
ma'am, right back.
I can go right back into my spiel right here. I know it sounds like, yeah, we can save all of this money by doing it in-house, but I don't know if we are really capable of doing this in-house, because one, we would need an HR department to manage the issues that we have. 4 years ago, looking for stability, we have an election coming up in the next year or so. We may be changing to more city council members, and we still have 3, I'm still going to call us newbies, on here, and trying to handle or trying to sort through all of this. I just don't think the city would be at an advantage at this point if we tried to take on this on internally. That's my opinion.
Any more discussion? All right, hearing none, we will roll call this, and Mayor, you have something? No, I'm good. I thought the mayor, I'm sorry. Okay. I will roll call this, starting with Mr. Alford. Well, let's go out for RFP.
Yes.
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 All right, and I would have said no. All right, we're going to go on to item number E. Discussion.
Resolution for 2025-22. Let's see. Really,
It's about the job position.
See, my first one's 26. There you go. City Council Resolution number 2025-22. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, creating and establishing a new job position of Building Department Staff Assistant, providing for qualifications, duties, and responsibilities, repealing all resolutions of conflict, providing severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, for a resolution, get the pleasure of the council. We have a motion of approval.
Second.
All right, discussion.
That's the one that Mr. Your position is. I'm sorry, I'm scared.
Good evening, George Curtis, Development Manager, City of Live Oak. I did include in the packet a staff report that provided some details about this. We're not looking to hire a new employee for this position. This is to increase the efficiency of the department through recognition of what Ms. Gale does and the volume of permits and revenue that have come in over the last year especially, but then going back, looking in the last 2 to 3 years. And the evidence of that, besides what's in my reports every month about how, for example, this fiscal year, we're at close to $17 million in value of permits sold, when last year, at the same time, we were at 8.3 million, so it's more than double. But if you look at the rollback rate that Ms. Joanne, Finance Director, just covered, that's evidence of how the development is taking place in the city and how the valuations of properties is going up because of new development. And so our number one goal and objective is just a smooth development process
for all the projects which are entitled, you know, through the land use and zoning process. And as part of our budget proposals that we'll discuss at workshops and all that, that's where any additional hiring and moving of revenue or funding for line items within the departments will be discussed. And part of that you can expect for the workshop is also to address code enforcement, which I believe was voted on by the council last month, directing the city manager to look at what it would take to bring some extra help on that. So we're looking at a blended arrangement where code enforcement and the building department would in the end be more productive and more efficient, and we can continue to respond effectively to the new development that keeps coming. So if you have any questions.
Yes.
Sure.
Explain what you explained to me the other day. We was on the phone together.
Yes, sir.
Concerning this position, you ain't got to mention the person's name and all that, but pretty much go over, because one time you told me that that person will be helping building and code enforcement, and then you said something different.
Right.
Help me out.
I jumped topics on you, and I know our call was breaking up a little bit, so it was difficult to hear. The idea is that this position would support the building department 100%. There wouldn't be any blending of this position that's under consideration with code enforcement. But what the discussions we've had with manager, the building official, and the code enforcement officer, and in regards to what the council requested, is that any other new hires that we could bring in, whether they be part-time or full-time, that they would be entry-level support staff that could work under the staff that we have now that has the expertise and the experience in order for the current staff to kind of impart their knowledge and their abilities onto new hires, because we do expect eventually that there'll be, some shifts, some retirements and some shifts, and you never know when somebody might, decide to leave employment. It's always good to have cross-trained staff that already understand how to fill those duties and how to back them up. And additionally, the vacation time and the sick time that employees are entitled to, and when you don't have anybody that's cross-trained to help the process go forward when folks are absent on vacation time, then it really brings things to a halt in certain areas, and it's not what's best for the community that we're trying to serve.
All right, because I'm bringing this up, we had our conversation, but to make this public knowledge, about the filling the position that becomes vacant. Now, what benefits, as far as that receptionist job we're talking about, would the same benefit afforded to the previous person would be afforded to the new person? Was the number of vacation, salaries?
We have a personnel policy that describes the first year of employment, where you earn so many hours of vacation and sick time. After the first year, I think it goes into a new category up to 5 years, and then from 5 to 10 there's a new category. So that's all set out in the personnel policy. Part-time positions don't get retirement, and they don't get city holidays, right?
Part-time gets retirement.
Yeah, okay, part-time gets retirement, but not
Up to 4 hours holiday.
4 hours holiday, okay. So part-time doesn't get all the benefits that a full-time would, I guess, is the way to put it. The entry-level salary for a secretary or a receptionist is $29,775, which equates to about $14.32 an hour. And then in September, the minimum wage will go up to $14, I believe. So I imagine there'll be some kind of looking at our salary schedule in regards to minimum wage. The planning, building, or code staff assistant level, whatever category somebody is hired in, that starts at about $16.39 an hour. So it's about $2 more an hour between a secretary and an assistant. So $2 times 40 hours, about $80 a week.
I have one more question for record.
Sure.
If that new hire has to go out on a medical, how can you cover what you're saying that this person we got now can cover her job and we won't have to worry about a government shutdown?
Everybody jumps in when there's a vacancy and does the best that we can to cover. So we would, if somebody is stationed at the front desk and they're out on medical leave, then we would find somebody to be stationed there. And there's been times when even finance and administration has sent somebody over to the annex to fill in when we've been short.
That would be the easiest job to cover is the new person, the easiest one to cover.
Yeah. Easier to train, easier to,
Well, I mean, with our conversation that we had a couple days ago, concerning the person that's in the position now, and you made a what-if statement, if that person went out, then it would cause a bottleneck within
right.
those departments.
So our intent would be, like I said, during the budget workshop time, to propose bringing in at a minimum a part-time person to help cover that front desk area, phone calls and walk-ins, so that the building assistant could be working behind the scenes to keep permits being generated. And it's not only permits generated, it's the inspection logs when the building official goes out and does inspections. Those have to be entered. She does certificates of completion, certificates of occupancy. She's in contact with the contractors to get their liability and workman's comp insurance entered. So there's a lot of kind of data entry. And when you're in the middle of that, and then you have to stop and answer the phone, and then somebody walks in, and then the phone rings, then it's like, well, where did I leave off? I was in the middle of X, Y, and Z. So it's difficult. And
So that current staff person now, can take what yours, never mind. I lost my train of thought.
I make a motion that we go ahead and, let's see, what was it?
we had a motion a second.
We had a motion already that we accept this position.
The motion is second.